Hello and welcome to the Keith Small podcast, where we're diving deep with the business owners shaping Pembrokeshire. I'm Keith Small, and each week I sit down with the entrepreneurs and leaders driving our community forwards. Whether it's their biggest win, their toughest challenges, or the unexpected turns that got them here, you're going to hear all about it. So stick around. This podcast is brought to you by Media to Motion. Hello there and welcome to the Keith Small podcast, where I get to meet, greet and talk to and have wonderful conversations with business owners from across the Pembrokeshire area. And today I have the great pleasure of having Sam and Donna from Signspeed, and looking forward to hearing all about your journey, challenges, wins, all the other bits and pieces that go with it. So welcome. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for asking us.
I was really excited about this one because I know with both of you, there's so many lovely stories that I've heard, because I think 5-6 years, maybe a little bit longer.
Just over 5.5.
Yeah, that's it. I know in terms of talking to you, and you've got so many stories that go with this, and there's been some great stuff that I've known, some brilliant stuff that I've seen in interviews that you've been on, because I know that you're no stranger to this kind of environment. But I'm really excited to get into see if there's any bits that we've missed, any wonderful stories that you can share, and just generally having you two around, because literally you are a phenomenal team. And I can't wait to hear what all ticks. And I'm sure there's some great stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you won't be able to share, but I'm sure there's some wonderful stuff that you will be able to share. So really excited to have you on board today. And I guess for those of you that, and it'll be surprising for me, but those of you who don't know what Signspeed are and what you do, how would you describe your business and how you help people? What do you do at Signspeed?
So we like to solve people's problems, whether anything to do with signage, branding, and just developing other people's businesses to make sure that they look the best in the best way possible.
Yeah, we very much see ourselves as providing solutions to our customers. If they've got help they need with branding, signage, then we can come in and see ourselves as an extension of their business. We represent their brand when we work for them. Yeah,
and I have to say, I've very happily used your service on a number of occasions. I'll always come back, and I'm sure most of your customers do, because of all the wonderful things that you do. And there's been so many different things you've helped me with. And the list of things that you do is just incredible. But as your customers, what kind of feedback do they give you? How would they describe the services and solutions you provide? Is it kind of like something that people always come back to you and say that we couldn't have done it with you because, or what kind of things do you think your customers say about you?
I think they'd like dealing with us because we're real people. So Sam and I are very much part of the team. The team are really customer focused and facing, and people can just come in and we can really get to know them. So it becomes more than just a transactional relationship, which you don't seem to get as much of if you are just going online. Yeah. So we can offer advice, we can go that extra mile, and that seems to be what our customers like us doing.
Yeah, I would say, you can go online, you can buy a sign, you can buy business cards, but our customers like the fact that, like I said before, we represent their brand, we care, and we do care. We don't just print what they give us. We will check it. We'll make sure it's spelt correctly. We'll give advice on what works, because we've been in the business for quite a while now, and the team are good at kind of getting out of people what they want and what they need. And it's not always what they think they need, but we offer that solution, and, they can come in, have a cuppa, and I think, especially in Pembrokeshire, people quite like that. Yeah,
and I can definitely testify to that, because I know there's been things that I've handed you before. Here's what I want. And you go, have you thought about this? What about that? But it's been brilliant, because it does actually make me think in a different way. And I end up getting what I need. Yeah. And it's been absolutely fantastic continuing to work with you. And you guys have just got such a unique story, because I've spoken to people where they've had an inspiration, they've decided to take a passion and build a business around it and about something they love. For me, and I know you're going to expand upon it, you started from inside the business to get an understanding of how it all worked. You got to see the pluses, the minuses, the challenges and all sorts. How did Signspeed with you, Donna, and you, Sam, come to pass? How is it now in its current situation? How did it all start for you?
It was a huge accident.
Yeah. See, this is the bit I love. It was like,
wasn't it?
It very much so. So we both came to Signspeed in similar situations and circumstances. Our children had grown up. We were both in a position to go back to work full time. Sam had joined the business from formerly working in a shed at a zoo.
I wasn't an exhibit.
And then I, again, was in the same situation about 6 months later. We both went for maternity covered positions, like to dip our toes back into full-time work. and we both really enjoyed it. We both made permanent employees pretty quickly, and when the previous owners were looking to take the steps into retirement and the business was available to purchase, we'd never thought about buying a sign company.
No.
We didn't even know each other before we worked together.
No, it wasn't something I thought, oh, I'm going to work in signs or I'm going to own a sign company at all. But then from speaking to other people in the industry, I don't think anyone ever thinks that. You will find that this industry people have fallen into and they've just fell in love with it and just stayed, and it's developed from there. So Signspeed was very much a case of, oh God, what are we going to do? Are we going to go and look for other jobs, or are we going to stay? Are we going to, at first I didn't think we were actually going to buy it. I just thought, well, we'll stay and someone else will buy it and we'll keep working here. Yeah. And then it developed from there, didn't it?
Time went on, that wasn't really going to happen. So it was like, right, do we come together and step up? And
I mean, both of our reasons I think were quite similar, weren't they? We'd almost settled. I'd been there, 2.5 years? You'd been there 2 years. We'd got to grips with the business, working in different parts of it. So we both had a good sense of the business from different avenues, because we are very different people with very different backgrounds. And we just thought, well, we might as well give it a go. And I don't think either of us actually knew what we were getting into.
Especially during the timings of it all happening.
Yeah. Wasn't this around
during COVID?
It was COVID in perfect timing.
Yeah.
And there's never a perfect time, but wow.
It was that. It made it more difficult, I would say, COVID 100% with, finding funding, because nobody knew what the world was going to do. So that was quite difficult. Obviously,
the world
we
of
weren't
online
in work.
meetings, Zooms.
Gosh, you must have got very well practiced at that.
Yeah, we never actually met our solicitor in person ever. Everything was done via Zoom, wasn't it? Because we bought the business in October 2020. It should have gone through in May 2020, but the delay, because obviously COVID was in its, in its prime at that point. So yeah, it was chaos.
Well, I say there's so many questions I've got, but one I'm going to come back to from what you just said there. When you were going through this process, number one, obviously, the thought of purchasing somewhere and moving into a business and so on, then obviously all the challenges that came with it. Was there ever a point where you thought, this isn't going to happen? Or was there always something that drove you?
There were a couple of points, but like Sam says, because we're very different people, I think when one of us is feeling the worry and the stress, the other one, we're able to talk each other, not round, but kind of like...
We just level each other, don't we? When when one's having a meltdown, we're like, well, no, hang on, let's just think about it calmly. And it's very much been like that right the way through. I think during the sale process, we just reached a point where it was a case of we are now too far in to pull out. And I think there was only one moment about a week before we were due to sign when we both thought, oh my God, and the reality really hit us. And we were just like, right, well, we're here now, we've got to keep going.
Massive thing there. And I guess the thing is as well, is there's so many kind of lessons going on. I think the thing for me is if you can go through a challenge like that to start with, bring it on, because what's going to be tougher than that? And I guess it's one of the things, for me, there's always the opportunity to learn through your wins, learn through your challenges and sometimes your failures, but they give you good lessons. Has there been for you like a situation or a challenge that's been tough? And how did you get through it? Was it just that starting point, or have there been other ones since?
There's been a few.
It's still happening as well.
Well, everything from when we took over the business, we were in the previous owners' buildings in their garden. So we had to locate somewhere to move to. We had to actually move the business. The business was established in 1983, so it's 43 years old.
And we had everything for 43 years to move. So we had to wade through it within the first 6 months of taking over.
Needed, what isn't.
And also adapting, really, wasn't it, to, because we still do to this day our day jobs. So we still do our day jobs. So it was almost dealing with becoming employers and employees, for the business, and team members and our colleagues as well, getting used to us being their employers. So that was a challenge to move within the first 6 months.
While still operating. So it was only 2 days our printer was not working because it was turned off one day, moved the next day and turned back on ready to print. The estate agent service carried on all the way through because we put up estate agent boards all across Pembrokeshire, and we try to really minimise impact on our customers, which I think we achieved, but that was quite a challenge.
And I don't think we realised how much of a challenge probably until about a year, 18 months later when it actually hit us, when you actually stop and look back. And it is important to stop and look back, isn't it? And say, do you know what, actually, what have we overcome? What challenges have we faced?
I was going to say, and this is that moment where you actually get the chance to look back and say, look how far we've come. Look at what we've achieved. And very often, I think that's the whole thing. We don't give ourselves a moment to pause and either give yourself a pat on the back or look at... Phew. But I think it just gives you so many great lessons for other things that inevitably are going to come up, which is always incredible.
We were... kind of had the influence of a gentleman in the business advice quite early on in our takeover of the business, and he always used to say to us, make sure that you can step away from the coalface, work on the business, not just in the business. So it's really installed that in us that, okay, even though you're neck deep in doing stuff, sometimes you have to kind of take that breath, go and sit outside in the sunshine on the bench or something, just kind of think about what's happening and take that moment.
Because we do our day jobs, both of us try to take ourselves away, don't we, and have a conversation about what we're going to do within the business. So we still do that now, work sort of on it rather than in it. But there's a limit, isn't there, how much of that you can do when you've got orders coming in and things like that.
It's that balance you've got to find. That's the thing, isn't it?
And that's probably what I struggle with the most, I think, is...
Yeah, it is, because sometimes there's not enough hours in the day to be the employer and the employee. So some things have to give at times.
And I think that's a danger at times. There's always that temptation when it's your own business to just be there 24/7 just in case. And it's the breaks, doing things for yourself and so on, and kind of recharge your batteries. And I'm going to tap you for some more kind of tips and golden nuggets in just a second in terms of advice that you've been given or that you'd share. But I'm going to ask you, with all these challenges, with everything that goes on, what keeps you motivated on those days? Because I'm sure we have those days where I go, why am I doing this? And then I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? So what motivates you to keep going? Because obviously you've got each other, clearly, in terms of how you work together. But what motivates you to keep going? Donna, is there something that drives you?
Nothing in particular drives. I think I just really liked doing the job. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the industry. Yes, I needed and wanted to be able to work to live, but it was such an enjoyable industry to be part of, and then going into being part of the ownership for it, it gives a little bit more of a flexibility. So if you are working later, then there are some benefits of it sometimes, a bit more flexibility. But I just absolutely loved the industry and I wanted to stay within it.
Fair enough. Great to say. How about you, Sam? Anything that kind of motivates you to... Is it love of the business?
I think with me, I do love the industry, otherwise we wouldn't have bought the business. But I think for me it comes from what my kids to see me working hard, and we've always worked. I didn't go to university, I haven't got a degree, I haven't actually got any A-levels because I dropped out of school, and I kind of want them to know that you actually don't have to. You just have to want to work hard. You just have to turn up to work on time, pull your shift and actually care. And I think that makes a big difference.
That's a big word, and I hear that a lot in terms of, it's that whole caring in terms of how you show up, what you deliver. Everyone else is going on around you, but how are you going to react? How are you going to
respond? Not about putting work before your personal life. That's not what I'm saying. I think it's just about, I know Donna's very much of the same mindset, and I do think it goes back to, working at the age of 13 in ice cream parlours, and you did your job. And I think that mentality is needed a little bit more in society at the moment. Not everyone can be an influencer. They actually need to work. And I think if you work hard, you get rewarded. And
that's where, so we've always been on the same kind of level before the business was ours. We had pride in what we were doing. We worked for it as if it was our own. If things needed doing, they need doing, and having that responsibility.
And I wonder if that's why we care about our customers so much as well, is because we represent them. So we want to do our best for them. So when they come to us, we try and find those solutions because we want to do the best we possibly can for them.
And I think it's that whole thing of value. And it brings me, there was a point I was going to raise about your experiences from within the business before it was your business, in terms of the work that you were doing, what you were seeing. Because so many people say, oh, if I had the opportunity to do, I'd do it differently. And now here you are and you've got it. So do you feel that grounding was helpful to you? And if it was helpful to you, what was kind of probably the most significant lessons you learnt in terms of running a business, or even looking after the team within it and your customers? What are kind of some of the biggest lessons you got from being within?
I'd say the previous directors, they were really good on processes and fairness. I mean, they were great to us, weren't they? Because obviously we've both got children, and they're in inevitably these times where you just have to run, you have to down tools and you have to go. And they were always really, really caring and looked after the team. And I think that's really important, and we've tried to do that ourselves. We've got a great team, and we do care about them, and we do try and do everything we can to support not just them in work but outside of work as well. So I think that was a really good footing, and the processes of how things are done that were put in place, that's something we've carried on. I mean, we have made changes.
But the groundwork and the bones of the business, it was a heck of a legacy to be able to carry on and run with the work that the previous directors had put into the business.
Because there aren't that many businesses that are as old as Signspeed that have kept going, and if people see our vans, it's Signspeed. People do tend to know who and what we are.
And I guess there's an expectation as well, especially when someone's been around for that long. It's like, this is what we expect.
That was another reason for wanting to take over, wasn't it? It was very much, where I worked before at Manor Wildlife Park, we bought the signs from Signspeed, so it was well known, etc. And we didn't want that to die in Pembrokeshire.
It was such an opportunity to be able to say, anybody can go and start setting something up, but to see a business of that length just disappear would have been really disappointing and sad.
Absolutely. Well, it's the thing you mentioned about the legacy in Pembrokeshire and so on. It shifts me quite nicely into what does it mean to have a business within Pembrokeshire? Because I know we talk about it, because I know we go to various events and collab and so on together, and we talk about working in Pembrokeshire, having a business. What does it mean to own and run a business in Pembrokeshire to you?
It means a lot, because Pembrokeshire, we're a very different kettle to fish to the rest of the world. Anybody that spent any time down here will realise that, there's life beyond Swansea, there's life beyond Carmarthen. We are down on the outer reaches of West Wales, and we are a little bit different. People by people in Pembrokeshire. And it's the same with us, with people that we interact with. You really build those strong relationships. And Sam does joke that I'm possibly related to most of the people around here as well.
Yeah, probably.
Probably very
true. The south of the A40.
Of course, yes, of course. Absolutely. I mean, are there any unique challenges you think that we have here in Pembrokeshire in terms of owning and running? Yeah, what kind of? So you're definitely nodding there. So what are some of the challenges you see?
We really struggle with suppliers. Material suppliers or additional workforce, that sort of thing. It's a nightmare. You ask somebody to deliver sheet material here and they're like, no, it's too far.
So we're quite limited with who will actually deliver to us. Right. Or if we've got to courier anything out to our customers, because it's not just Pembrokeshire that we service all over the UK. We even as far as Oslo was probably one of our furthest customers.
Yeah.
It's really
that wasn't a personal delivery. Just checking that one.
She did a cream tea.
I used one of an afternoon tea in this, so yeah.
I wish.
We do find courier services really difficult, because pre-12s, if we're waiting for vinyl material or sheet material, things like that, anything on a pre-12 doesn't come to us here. It's lucky if it's a pre-4, isn't it, really? Yeah. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't move to access that. No. It would be nice to have access to more suppliers.
Yeah. But and again, the skills of the signage industry tend to be circulated around kind of like the Midlands to the east of England, whereas we don't really have like the training courses. Everything's learnt on the job. So say one thing in Pembrokeshire would be quite nice is people with the confidence to kind of like step up and kind of say like, that's interesting, I wouldn't mind getting involved.
Because we'd be really keen to take on apprentices. It's something we've looked into, not just for things like graphic design, but also for sign making, because we've got the full range of the design and the installation and the production in-house. But there is no recognised qualification within Wales for it. There is something out of Walsall College, but there's nothing in Wales. And that would be really lovely to have, because it is a manufacturing industry, and it's a huge industry. Everywhere you look, there's signs.
Well, this is the thing, because you think about the market that's here and where we're based in terms of tourism, leisure and so on. So undying supply of signs, I can imagine there. So there's all sorts of challenges. So what are the positives of having a business in Pembrokeshire for you then?
It's beautiful.
There you go. That's the winner every single time. Yeah, it's a beautiful
you just have to go out and do a site visit for a customer, and you're like, wow, this is we're lucky. We're lucky to be here. Both Sam and I are both Pembrokeshire girls, born and bred, and it's just really nice that we haven't had to to relocate, and we are able to make a future for our family and ourselves, our families and ourselves in the county.
Yeah, every day when, we get pictures from the fitters when they're out and about putting things up of the van parked in beautiful locations, even when it's raining, and there's a rainbow in the background. Yeah, you can't beat
How many people have a manufacturing facility a stone throw away from a castle?
Yes, this
like we do.
Not many people can compete with that.
No.
I've been. This is kind of how this is my view of Signspeed and the dreamy days you have of being able to kind of talk to lovely customers every day, understand what they need, please them, make them happy. You get to go to these wonderful, beautiful locations and get to see all this wonderful work come together. And so it looks like a wonderful, rosy picture to me. Is it that, or is there more to it than that?
Well, like
what's your
sometimes
typical day?
A swan on a pond, isn't it?
Yes.
So the manufacturing process is the frantic legs underneath it. So say not only have we got to kind of get what the customer wants out of their head, we need to put it into a design. We need to get the customer to approve it. We then need to kind of schedule production of it. So we need to get it printed. It needs to go through a process of outgassing to make sure that the overlaminate doesn't bubble off it. Then we've got to apply it to sheet. Then we've got to make sure it's all correct sizes. Then we've got to either deliver it or fit it. So there's a lot of things that go in from somebody saying on the screen, yes, that's good to go, to it actually going through the process. And that's just a simple flat panel sign.
Incredible.
I
similar. So.
Yeah, I often liken my job to juggling, don't I?
Yeah.
I say work in a circus. I've literally got all these balls in the air and I'm juggling them, and I've got the design and I've got the production and I've got the customer, and all the balls are in the air, and sometimes I do drop the balls.
So, Sam schedules us all, so
here we are.
I'd say more of a lion tamer with a whip sometimes.
Do you reckon?
Oh, there you go.
That could be a new circus.
Do you think?
See, that's definitely...
Get that made.
Definitely a T-shirt in that, I would say. Yeah, this is it. I'm Sam.
I'm all on board for the whip. Do you think people would move quicker if they were...
Do you know what? Unless you try, you don't know. But we might...
Okay.
Health and safety somewhere might have a view on this, so it might be worth just doing a little bit of research.
It's okay, I'm in charge of health and safety as well.
Oh, there you are.
So
Okay.
it's all okay.
And
It's all
HR.
good. Signed and approved. On our next episode, we'll find out how that goes. So that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to say... We talked about some challenges, being in Pembrokeshire and so on, and this is all kind of really good. What's probably your biggest memory so far of working together or working within the business? What's kind of like one of your biggest and best memories so far of all the journeys that you've experienced?
Quite a few.
Oh, wow. Probably the first one. I mean, there's been loads, like you say, but the first one is the day that we got the news that it had been finally signed.
Yeah, big.
That was our first big moment. Donna cried.
And
Donna
I'm
doesn't
not a
cry.
crier.
No.
She doesn't cry. I had a coffee. You cried. And then...
Different ways to celebrate. Yeah,
and then we had leftover Chinese from my Chinese the night before, and I shared with Donna. So that was but I think that was a big moment because it was a slog. It was really hard. There was so much paperwork, so much. When sellers are emotionally invested, and it was a huge thing. And it was just the two of us in the office. It was 1:10 on the 1st of October 2020.
Yeah.
And we'd had a few false things in the week. Yes, it'll happen. And it was, Betson from JCP had said this was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 1:10.
It was it, yeah.
It was a
sat there
huge moment.
with my
it's like a
special...
birthday in terms of the date and the time where it was incredible.
I had a special Chinese fork with me for eating my Chinese takeaway.
Yeah, for lunch.
So Sam's leftover Chinese takeaway she brought in for lunch.
Yeah. Because we did, like I say, we had a few false starts on when it was actually going to happen. Because we'd already been out for a celebratory meal 2 weeks before because it was meant to happen. So we'd done that bit, but it was
it's another celebration.
Yeah. So that was probably the first big one, wasn't it?
Then moving, when we were sat there after we'd managed to get everything into the unit and it was all there, we sat there like getting on 10 o'clock one evening, and Sam's husband went and picked us up at McDonald's, and we just sat there like zombies, like, we're in. This is us now. This is actually ours.
That's when it really felt like ours, wasn't it? Because obviously the first 6 months, still being in the premises, everything stayed the same.
Yeah.
Everything was the same. We carried on, apart from obviously looking for somewhere to move to. Nothing really changed in those first 6 months because we were just going into work and doing our job. But when we moved, it almost felt like, whoa, we are on our own now.
This is it.
It's us and the
This
team.
is it. Yeah.
But there's been lots of good memories, isn't there?
This is the bit, and this is the bit I'm really kind of enjoying about this. There's memories of the beginning. There's the memories of kind of like, this is it, we're on our own. Sorry. Is there a point where you kind of went to yourself, right, not only have we got a business, it's actually working as well? This is what was there a point there that you recognised, or is that something you're still seeing every day?
I think we're constantly working towards it. I think I don't think there will be a point when we just go, oh, we've got this nailed.
Yeah.
But does anyone who has a business think, oh, yeah, do you know, this is
like peaks and troughs, isn't it? Just as you
get,
I mean, what happened?
I mean, there are some obviously brilliant days when we're like, oh, that went perfect, or that went completely to plan.
Yeah.
But then, as you say, it's that roller coaster of the next day. Then you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there have been some like challenges, like in the last sort of, I think it was about 2 months ago, like I hit a real low. And like Donna said earlier, normally one of us is up and one of us is down. And it's been like that completely for the last 5.5 years. And before that, when we worked together, really.
But that was the first point where neither of us were at the point to drag the other one with us. Not drag, but kind of like...
Yeah, but that's what we do. We drag the other one up
absolutely.
and say, come on.
So that was probably the most difficult point that we've kind of been through. And we've been through some difficult things. But because we are opposites and because we're able to... We are like chalk and cheese, but we work together well. It's
my little saying is we're like a jigsaw puzzle, aren't we? We just fit together.
Yeah, and that's creepy.
Yep. I'll let you continue with that one, but thank you. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think this is the thing I'm really enjoying. You were talking about challenges, you're talking about success. All of them basically add up to all the great stuff that you're achieving. And I guess there's a couple of things I kind of want to expand upon from this. And I want to talk about where you want to go with the business, where you see yourself in a few years' time. But what's your formula for customer service? Is this something that you aim for? Because I know, for me, one of the biggest things is repeats in terms of people will come back to you without question and want to see you and work with you again. What's your focus for customer service? Anything in particular that kind of springs to mind?
We've got a little tagline, haven't we? It's on time every time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So, which doesn't always mean the customer sets the deadline. It just means that if we manage expectations, we'll deliver on time every time.
Yeah. And getting to grips with their project as well. It's say like not everything is instantaneous, and it's getting that kind of understanding with the customer about the process that need to follow in order to get to where they need to be as well. Yeah. So it's taking them on the journey of their products as well, and we try and keep in touch with them. We try and manage those expectations, manage that journey. And I think a lot of the feedback that we get is positive, isn't it? That people appreciate that they do appreciate the time we take to spend talking to them and to understand what they want to achieve. And the amount of repeat customers we get is kind of testament to that. And the longevity of some of our customers. You say we've had customers that have been with Signspeed since the very start, and we were really pleased that when we took over the mantle of it, that they continued to stay with us and trusted us as well with it.
I think it's always such a lovely sign when people don't look elsewhere because I'm getting everything I need here. And that for me is actually a real tick for we're doing good things. So it's really good. But I say in the next kind of like, where do you see yourself going with the business now in terms of the next year, 3 years, 5 years? What's the grand plan? What's the aim? What are you looking for in terms of
we want to grow. Yeah. We want to employ more people in the county. We want to keep those skills of the signage industry in the county. We want people to come and be part of Team Signspeed. We're looking at exploring our work experience positions and things like that. So perhaps giving people a chance to get back into work, whether that's somebody who's taken time out of work and is a bit older, whether that's somebody younger who hasn't had the chance or opportunity. So we've got a couple of things in the pipeline for that, haven't we, to share the skills? Because like you say, these skills, you're not taught them at school. No, absolutely not. It's something you can develop and you can only learn in a workplace. Yeah. So, and also it's like we were given the opportunity coming back into full-time employment, and it would be nice to help get somebody else, give them the confidence to be able to do it as well, because it's daunting as well. It is a daunting thing. Yeah, it's scary going into work, isn't it? Whether you're young or you're old, especially when you've got things to deal with at home and kids.
Well, I think this is the thing as well, as you said, there's so many things you've been through in terms of developing this business within Pembrokeshire, but then also, forgive me, I'm going to bring it up, being recognised in other parts of the country. When I know you've been to industry events and you've been interviewed and people have talked to you about how do you feel about when you have other companies come up to you and say to you, how would you do this? How does that feel to you?
It's really, It's lovely. We've got such a great community, but we've put ourselves out there. We go to the industry events, we get out there, we meet people, and I say we've got a really good connection with a print specific coach as well who's built a community. He kindly put us on a podcast as well.
That's right.
Our first one.
Yeah, that was about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
But
it's quite unique as well, the fact that we are women in the industry, because print, it is mainly a male-dominated environment. So I think having 2 women running a sign company is quite, it's
unique.
Yeah, it is unique.
Yeah,
but we've got a lot of support, haven't we, within the community, within the print industry. And like Donna said, because we put ourselves out there, because we want to share ideas. There's so much talent out there that we do want to collaborate and share ideas, because if somebody's doing something, that maybe we could be doing, they'll share that information, and that's quite nice, and we can bring that back to Pembrokeshire and sort of widen our offering.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. In terms of kind of like helpful advice, you mentioned a moment ago about a gentleman, the previous owner, that said make sure you take time out for yourself, have a look in the business, don't always be in, which is great. What's some of the best piece of advice that you would want to share for people who have a business or considering starting a business in Pembrokeshire? What's some of the nuggets that you would want to share?
I'd say just go for it. There's not going to be a good time. If you're thinking of starting a business or there's an idea that you want to try, I would just go for it, because if you wait for that perfect moment, it's not going to come, is it? There's always something in the way. So just have the confidence in yourself, and if it doesn't work out, what's the worst that can happen? Really?
See, I have to say, Dr. Pepper's always got it nailed when he has what's the worst that's going to happen. That's always the thing. But I always think it's a great mindset, is go out and do it, because if you don't, nothing's going to change. You're going to stay exactly where you are. Nothing's going to happen. What's the worst that can happen?
You only fail if you try.
Yeah.
There you go. But that's it.
How
many lessons?
And also get out there and speak to people.
Yeah, and I sometimes think this is the thing. There's so much. Digital is incredibly important, but I still think connection, being around people saying, "Oh, it's Donna. Oh, it's Sam," is a reminder in there. So, what's the importance of that for you?
Well, say even just knowing what other businesses are up to in the area. I do quite a few networking events. I'm involved in quite a few networks, as you know, Keith. But it's really important to get a gauge on how other industries are coping. What are their challenges? What are they facing? Because we're not just alone in the signage industry. We're quite a seasonal business, weirdly enough, because of the area we live in. So if other people are having issues and roadblocks, then that could also affect us. So be out there. Who knows who? Go and speak to people. Build your network. Build a range of people that go, oh, could do go and see Keith. Could go and see Sam. It's you. Yeah, get out there.
It's about building relationships, isn't it?
Go out and
as we
just
say.
No,
it is about the relationship building, especially in a place like Pembrokeshire, when people know people, and there's nothing better than for a business for somebody else to recommend you. And we are really lucky that, the networking that Donna does and the relationship building and our, customers, to mention Keith from Upton Farm, for example, he's a fantastic rep for our business. He'll speak on our behalf when he's speaking to customers, because he knows the quality we can provide. And I think if someone else is talking about your business, then it's just a glowing testament.
Well, you mentioned Keith there from Upton Farm. Are there other people within Pembrokeshire that have inspired you, supported you in some ways? There are people that kind of, right, if I want some help or advice, go to them. If I need some support, these people are amazing. Or you look at their businesses and go, that's where we need to be. Are there any kind of organisations or people that you look at?
Pembrokeshire's full of amazing businesses, isn't it?
It's just people forget that sometimes.
Everywhere you look, there's just pockets of people. One lady always springs to mind when I think about inspirational businesswomen in Pembrokeshire. It's a lady called Linda Wilshaw.
Yes,
she has had an incredible career, from being a long-distance lorry driver to having an incredible cleaning company with hundreds of staff, and she is so humble with her achievements. But she's a font of knowledge, and it's just...
And she's always got the time. She always takes the time, doesn't she?
She doesn't realise how inspirational she is, and just being around her, what she's achieved. She's brilliant.
It's a massive point. And I think the thing is, when you talk about people that, Linda comes to mind, just one of the nicest people you could possibly meet as well. As it always got time, always a piece of information. But I think as well, with all that knowledge, all that experience, never a moment where if Linda wants to ask questions, she's not afraid to ask. And I think that's always a big tip from my side is that sometimes you feel like you should have all the answers, but being brave enough to go and say, you got a minute.
Yeah, you've got to ask for help, haven't you? Because
that's where we've managed to get, say, a lot of our industry friends and people that we know now that have got similar businesses to us as well. We've kind of really managed to get a good friendship to speak to people that could potentially be competitors.
Yeah.
But we've got relationships with them now that we can actually go and ask those questions. It's just like, how are you, like you said earlier, about how are you doing this? We're doing this. What do you do?
And I think that's a really important point, because often you talk about competitors, but very often talking to people in the same area of business that you do can actually lead to more work, because maybe it's an area they don't cover or you don't cover, and you can work together. And I think it opens up the conversation in terms of, what's your best practice? What are your operating procedures? What works for you? And if that shared experience is there, benefits everybody.
Yeah, if it's something that we can't do, we've normally got somebody to recommend. For example, like clothing or if websites, we've got people that we can tell people to go to, because we use and trust them as well.
Yeah, and then the recommendation comes from you. Your customers appreciate it, so it's good. Well, there's kind of like a couple of last bits I want to ask, just in terms of closing. If there's anything you would like people to take away from our conversation today, Donna, is there anything that you would say, right, here's something I'd love people to kind of really home in on from what we've spoken about today?
Just have the confidence to give things a go. There's people out there that can support you. If you've got an idea or if you've got a business that's fledgling, if you feel alone in what you're doing, there's loads of networks, there's loads of people that can help support you along the way, whether it be someone like yourself, Keith, or like some of the other inspirational people that we're around. Go and ask questions. Yeah. If it's just have confidence in stepping out and doing it. Yeah,
it's a big thing, that, isn't it? Being brave enough to ask questions. Lovely. How about yourself, Sam? Anything you want people to kind of take away from this conversation today?
Probably don't be afraid to just take a chance. Yes, ask for support and things like that. I mean, I'm lucky that I don't think I would have done it on my own without Donna.
No, I don't think neither of us would have.
No, but I think just if you want something, just go and give it a go. Yeah. Just have the confidence in yourself to just do it, because this experience has completely changed me.
Yeah. That's something that's really stuck out for me in terms of what you've said today is go for it. Yeah. You've got to try it. Otherwise, you're not going to know if it works. Brilliant. Well, last but not least, really important bit. This is really important, okay? You might not have been prepared for this question. But what I want to ask is, if people want to work with you, if people want to find out more about you, they want to kind of get into your services, how do they contact you? How do they reach out to you? What's the best way?
We've got an email address, hello@signspeed.com. Give us a call on 01646 651 799. Pop in and see us at Unit 5 on Cairo Airfield.
Kettle's always on.
Yeah, the kettle or the coffee machine is always on, definitely. Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, or we're both on LinkedIn. So, however people want to get in touch with us, then, we're always ready to listen.
It's brilliant. Donna, Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today, and can't wait to see how your story continues. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Thank you.